This week, we should have results from AXCC, but we still don't. But we do have results to bring you from IXCR and information about upcoming races that'll finish out the season. So strap in as we bring you up to the race pace. Race Pace, sponsored by CW Motorsports. I'm Doug.
And I'm Chad.
And we've been waiting for AXCC to post results, and we actually delayed the show by a day, and they still don't have results out, and we don't really want to bag on you, AXCC, but come on, guys.
Get your stuff out there.
Come on.
Like pull into a McDonald's, upload the stuff. It won't take 2 minutes. Just please do it.
Please do it. I mean, we're dying here on the vine waiting for news. So we're going to start there with what we do know about AXCC, that Matt Rowell took top honors yet again, and we're not really sure who finished in second place, and then in third place was...
It was Chad from over there at DR Power.
It was Chad. Chad in his infamous or famous Honda-powered machine.
He had some bugs to work out. Doug and I were talking about this off the show just a second ago. The Hondas overall have not had an amazing showing their first year out. And he had some bugs, definitely, but he seems to have been working them out. I'm not saying I'm getting a Honda, but
Chad's getting a Honda.
No, I'm not. But he's definitely putting together a good race program with this. First year bugs are always going to kind of be a thing. So getting on the podium's, good. It's a good way to do it. So
the other thing we do know about from AXCC is that Steve Mueller decided to take a razor nap on both sides of his razor. He wanted to test out the roll cage pretty much from every angle he could possibly figure that out.
Twice, yeah. Driver's side first. About 60 seconds into the race, he decided to lay it over. And he almost did on the first turn, too. Like, he had it up on two wheels.
Yeah.
Got into the woods, and there was somebody that was already on their side. He drove in. It was like a little shallow ditch or something like that, and it was in a turn kind of off camber. He got in there and just laid it on its side right next to him.
Yep.
They got him righted again, and he got a little more down the track and laid it on the passenger side. So... You know what? Things happen, right?
Things happen, Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you.
Sometimes you get mauled by the bear twice.
On both sides.
Yes.
But, Steve, we're sorry that your luck wasn't with you the other day. But it could have been far worse. There was no real damage to the machine, and you get a good story out of it. But we definitely want to high-five everybody out there who made the trip out, and especially Matt. Congratulations, man. What a showing out there, and that's some great racing. And Chad, even though we're giving you a little bit of grief about the Honda, honestly, great showing out there. Way to come in and finish strong there in third place.
Yeah. And kind of one of the things, Matt Rowell, his X3 that he's running, that thing is 2 years old at this point. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of nearing the end of a race machine's life. So, held up with no problems. Like, he's got some good solid parts. He made a good, strong effort and rebuilt a lot of stuff over the winter and kind of got the machine ready. So, it's paying off for him now.
I still remember racing with him right after he got that thing, and I mean, he had stock doors on it. He just had the little penguin flipper doors that don't really cover anything. And I remember looking down, and there's just, it's open. Like, anything could have come through there and just skewered me. And what's really funny is it didn't even occur to me till after the race was over. It was like, that's a little sketchy, actually.
Like, that's why they make you have full doors normally.
I just wanted to race. Like, I didn't really give a crap.
Right.
Maybe I've been around you too long, but the fear reflex isn't there anymore for whatever reason. It's just...
I've suppressed it to the point it's left.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, after the fact, I could look at something and go, I probably should have been worried about that, but I just wasn't.
Yep.
So moving over to IXCR, where we actually do have results we can pass to you, even though we weren't there. So this was Hunt's Club down in Barbersville, and again, IXCR just put on great events. I mean, there's no two ways about it. They had, even with AXCC competing with them, that looks like they still had 29 on the line to start with 3 DNFs, so total of 32 there.
Yeah.
The DNFs rolled zeros, so I don't know if they didn't start or what the, actual thing there. Maybe they all bombed out in the first lap. Who knows? But still a pretty good showing for that event.
Yep. No, they do put on great events. They always seem to draw pretty good numbers for being an AXCC weekend, which that took probably a good 10 or so cars away from them.
Yeah.
That 29 is good. I mean, that would put them up right about their normal numbers, 40-something cars normally. So
yeah.
And you also have to remember it's getting towards the end of the season. Cars start dropping off.
Yeah, not everybody's machine is holding up as well as Matt Rowell's.
Right.
So looking at the list here, Heavy Pro Mod, you got Dwight Pollard from Clarksville, Georgia, finished first place. Now, I'm going to have to get on Chad again because I think Chad Deutsch actually paid for this. But it says Dwight Pollard was in a Honda. He absolutely was not. He was in an X3. It's the same X3 he's been in all season. In fact, Dwight just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that's going to make that kind of jump. Just throwing it out there.
I think so.
Yeah, I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
So if you throw that out, the top 5 were all Can-Ams, so we'll get that out of the way right now. They're all X3s. You got Dwight Pollard in first, Mitch Langford in second, Jason Wooford in third, Matt Lithgow in fourth, and Brandon Monsell rounds out the top 5.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the top guys you normally see running that series, so no massive switch-ups there. Dwight's always fast.
Oh, yeah.
I'm kind of surprised Dwight didn't run AXCC. I know he's in the points running for IXCR, so I would bet that has something to do with it. But
well, and you've drawn off some of the. I mean, if you're in the points running and you need a first to really stay in the hunt, and some of the other competitions going to AXCC, I mean, that seems like a really good reason to run IXCR.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that he's afraid of competition. He's not. He's a fast driver, but just from a point standpoint, if this is the series you're competing in, this is the perfect opportunity to make up some ground or to at least kind of cement your victory.
Oh, yeah. Well, and also AXCC would have been closer for him because that was in Tennessee and he's in Georgia, so he had to drive right by it by several hours to come up here to race.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pulling up the standings right now just for giggles because I didn't have those up already. Somewhere there's a UTV. There we go. And now I have to save it, and now I've got to open it. The trials and travails of modern technology. Dwight Pollard right now is in first place with 97 points, and that includes Hunt Club, so that's the most recent. So he's got 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and then he had that one on, when was that? August 22nd, he finished 7th. He had a bad finish there. He had some, I think he had a breakage. But anyways, he's up 97 points right now, so if he continues on the path he's on, even just moderate finishes, like 3rd and 4th place for the rest of the season, he's got it in the bag.
Yeah. I would suspect that's why he went and ran IXCR. I mean, it makes total sense to do that.
Yeah. Matt Lithgow is actually, what did I say he finished? He finished 7th? In 4th.
4th.
But he's in 2nd place right now. He's got 86 points.
Yeah. 86 to 97. That's a fair amount to make up. I mean, I'm not saying you can't do it, but I'm just saying that's going to be a challenge because Dwight's a good racer too.
Actually, yeah. I mean, barring Dwight having a couple of really bad races, if they both continue racing and finishing kind of on average where they have been, there's mathematically no way Matt can catch him.
Yeah. Dwight would have to have some bad races, and Matt would have to have some good races.
Yeah, for sure.
It's not impossible, but that's the beauty of racing. And to top it off, I think Dwight's car, I think this is the 2nd year he's raced it. I'm not positive on that. And Matt Lithgow just got a new one. So, if there's going to be breakage due to, fatigue in the car, Matt's set up to, capitalize on that. So we'll see.
It's almost like Lithgow has some sort of connection there for Can-Am.
Almost like, he's got an in with the dealership.
It's really weird. So moving a little further down the class, we'll just go ahead and go. You've got 6 through 12 and then a DNF. Cole Sequoy, who is actually in third place for points right now, he finished 6th. He's actually one of the few that's running a Yamaha out there. Michael Falk is in an X3 as well in 7th place. In 8th place, you got Michael Simmons in a Yamaha. So you got a pair of Yamahas there in the top 10. John Carter from Ashland City, Tennessee is in a Polaris, finishing 9th. And then running at the top 10, you've got Gary Manuel from Peru, Indiana in a Can-Am as well. And then Ty Phillips and Mike Zidell running 11th and 12th. Ty's in a Can-Am, and Mike is famously in his Polaris.
Yep, he's got an 18 Razor, and he kind of cried a little when I got rid of mine.
Yeah, you left the club.
Well, and they were identical color. They were both the orange and gray and all that. Sorry.
It is what it is. We all knew it was happening. It was just a matter of time.
Things happen. What can I say?
Single Pro Mod. Mitch Wolford in, of course, a Polaris was in first place, followed by Drew Moore in second, Brad Ashby running in third, Ryan Beeman in fourth, Aaron Reimer in fifth, and John Reimer in sixth. And so all of them in Polarises.
Yep.
There's no other real option out there because you're either in an Ace or an RS1, and I don't think anybody's racing Aces anymore.
I haven't seen anyone race an Ace in quite a while, and I don't suspect they'll make a massive comeback.
No.
Or even be competitive.
If you're not familiar with the Ace, it was the first single-seat UTV, but effectively it was a quad with a roll cage.
Right.
It really wasn't what you think of in terms of a modern UTV.
You sat down a little lower, but not much.
Imagine if you took a Rhino... And like narrowed it. That's basically what it was. They did fly really well though. If you could, get enough momentum behind them to jump them, they flew pretty well.
But they didn't have a whole lot of suspension travel either.
You felt bad for the driver when they landed, I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Down in the heavies, you got Tony Reed and Rick Strange finishing first and second, and Matt Hecker in third, all in Can-Ams. Rob Zidell in his Yamaha finished fourth, and Chris Hedrick finished fifth in the only Honda in the field this particular week.
The only real Honda in the field.
The only real Honda in the field. I mean, I'm sure there were Honda quads because they're pretty much all Honda quads at that point. Heavy Limited, you've got Logan Flanagan in first, followed up by Scott Heller in second, and Bo McGrew in third, all running in Polaris. Sean Pruitt's in Yamaha in fourth, and Jeremiah Braun is in a Polaris running down in fifth place.
Yep.
And then Light Mod, you got a couple Polarises down there because that's pretty much all that run if you're below 900 cc's. So Light Mod, Kyle Pitts ran by himself, and Craig Bowman in Track Worker.
Yeah, wow. He normally actually runs pretty good.
Yeah.
Craig does. But
he was first in his class.
Yeah.
He finished in his elapsed time was 54 flat, which for comparison would have put him... if he was running in heavy pro mod, that actually would have put him in 7th.
Yeah. He normally, like I said, he normally finishes pretty well, but he pulls himself out of the points, which is fair. I mean, that you could make the argument, well, you still have to go out there and race the track, but quite honestly, I think it's real honorable the way he does it. There's no question about it. So.
He actually would have finished 10th overall.
Yeah.
So, I mean, not a bad showing at all. So looking at the overall, it pretty much plays out the way you would expect. Two of the single pro mods took the top 2 spots. Actually, Mitch Wolford and Drew Moore took the top 2 spots in the overall.
Yep.
And then you just have a whole block of heavy pro mods, and then you get into kind of just a mix from basically 10th position on down. It's a heavy pro and a single, and then a heavy limited, and it's just a mishmash from there. But two of the single seaters up there at the top with pretty quick lapse times. 4 laps in 49 minutes 31 seconds for the top spot, and then 4 laps in 50:23 for the second. So obviously a longer track.
Yeah. So we're kind of probably approaching time here. So let's do a quick rundown. As we were talking about, the season's kind of starting to wrap up here in the near future. So what's happening out there? October 3rd? Well, no, but before we get there, this coming weekend, MWXC is racing. Yep. And Extreme are racing. They're both racing on Saturday. I'm going to go to one. I don't know which one I'm going to go to yet.
Whichever one's closer.
That's usually the most tempting way to go about it. Events that I know that I'm going to try and make. October 3rd is Wagler's last short course event for the year. Yep. I will be going out there. So that'll be fun, especially now that I kind of have an idea of the track. I've actually driven my machine more than off the trailer.
And you got a few more ponies under the hood, so.
Yeah, there's a few more horses that have returned. So that'll be fun. There's also an IXCR race that day. So that'll kind of, I'm sure, knock the numbers down a little bit, but we'll see what happens. November 7th. I think it is, out in Missouri. We posted the information on our Facebook page. You can go there and check it out, and we'll post again when it gets closer. But there is, I think it's called Eureka something. Eureka Raceway or whatever it is. They're having an event. I don't know if, we're good. They're having an event. It's actually like a wedding venue place. It's this really nice place, and somehow someone convinced them to let side-by-sides race there.
This will be the most bizarre race of the season. I'm just calling it now.
Yeah. So,
I'm really kind of hoping that somebody who was thinking about getting married pulls together their wedding at the last possible moment and actually makes that happen during the race.
Yeah. So that's going on, and then December 12th down in Texplex, they're doing their 12-hour race, which I think a bunch of us are going to try and get together and make the trip down there and race in some form or fashion.
And so what that's going to look like is usually you're going to have a team of at least 3 drivers, and you're going to be able to swap drivers out every so often. So maybe you do 2-hour rotations or something like that. But it's going to be kind of like 24 hours of Le Mans, where it's not just one person racing for 24 hours, or in this case 12 hours. You're going to be able to swap out. There are a couple hardcore racers who are talking about doing the entire 12 hours, but that sounds really, really insanely exhausting to me.
I don't know if even the guys that are in the best shape, we're talking Kyle Chaney and Scotty Lawrence and the Hunter Millers and these guys, that this is what they do. 12 hours in a car. You see Chaney and some of these guys, they'll get out after Hammers or, Heartland Challenge. It's a 4-hour, and their legs give out when they get out of the car.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So while it's noble to think of doing the 12-hour, it's probably not intelligent.
Probably not. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah. But no, we're going to make a trip down there. I don't know exactly what I'll be doing. Maybe racing, maybe just doing pit crew stuff. Honestly, I'd be fine with either one. The pit crew bit is, quite honestly, not quite equally as fun, nearly as fun as doing the actual racing.
And I'm going to be the old stick in the mud that says, honestly, it's probably more fun at the end of the race. I think the racing is probably more fun for the first third of that event, and then after that, I think the pit crew part of it's actually better.
The thing with racing is you feel beat up at the end, you're tired and everything else, and there's stress that goes with it and all that. Whereas with the pit crew, you're just hanging out till you're needed, and you're just like, and I'll help, and now I'm the hero. I mean, you really, like, if you're the pit crew, you really very seldomly can screw it up.
Yeah.
Like, you can only make things better. So
on average, hopefully.
Yeah.
AXCC's got a couple more rounds, October 17th and October 31st, so really quick back-to-back is going to finish out their season, and they're actually going to finish in Jay, Oklahoma at the Mid-America Outdoor Complex that they started the season in.
Right.
So back to Disneyland for UTVs, just so you know what's coming up there. If you're planning on doing AXCC, it's going to be a pretty tight back-to-back there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, that pretty well wraps up the rest of the year, I think. I mean, we're really only about a month from finishing out normal XC racing here in the Midwest.
Yeah, there'll be a couple of what I'm going to call more exhibition events, but really the season will start wrapping up here pretty quick.
Yeah. Like the short course stuff, those are one-offs. They're not series, things like that. So, you know, those will be here and there, and like the 12 hours at Texplex. That's an exhibition event, I would call it. Same as Heartland Challenge, but
yeah,
still a neat event. So, yeah, racing season's wrapping up here.
Well, that's what we got for you. We do want to say a quick thank you to all of our sponsors. Of course, we've got CW Motorsports. Sorry, I just got a bunch of weird Chad noise in my ear. Let's try that again. CW Motorsports, who's been our title sponsor for this entire year. And then, of course, we've also got Watch Communications on board, 834 Powder Coat, and Spanx Fab. You can find us on the web at eminentperformance.com, and we are also active on Instagram at Facebook/Eminent Racing. Usually, if you don't know where to go at all, just go to eminentperformance.com or just go to Google and type in Eminent Performance, and magically enough, we actually show up. You can find us on YouTube /Eminent Performance. If you're looking for the podcast version, just go to iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, any of the normal podcast type of outlets, and look for Eminent Performance, and you're going to find us there as well.
Yep.
And if it's not too much trouble, leave us a like or a comment. Even if you don't like us, leave us a comment, because really, honestly, a subscription or a thumbs up or a thumbs down or any kind of attention is better than no attention at all. So,
very true.
And I think that covers all the stuff and things.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, like I said, season's wrapping up. It feels like it just got going, but it's down to that time where, you know, the cars are dropping off and stuff like that, and the races are you're seeing those final rounds start popping up on the calendar here in the next month.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, with the front of the season being cut off the way it was, it definitely, you know, it seems like it shouldn't be ending yet, but the weather is starting to turn, and so in some ways it does feel like it's time for it. So, COVID-shortened season. Hopefully next year we can get back to business as usual.
Yep, hope so.
But in the meantime, thanks for riding along with us, and we'll see you out there at the track.
Thanks, guys.